Why would you make this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for listening. This is Why Would You Make This? Season 3, The Asylum Years, the only podcast to continue with last week's story while also completely ignoring it, causing you to ask the question, why would you make this? I am Jimmy Time. I'm joined by my co-host, Brother Skylar. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, actually?
I mean, this is the Asylum Years are hitting us really hard. We're actually asylumed now.
No, it's way too relevant.
We're not in the same room. We're really
Did we cause
asylumed.
this?
Oh, boy. I mean, a little bit. So during season 3, we are taking you through National Wrestling Alliance Total Nonstop Action weekly pay-per-view shows, now known as TNA The Asylum Years. This episode is NWA TNA pay-per-view number 3, which aired July 3rd, 2002. From City Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, drawing 2,000 people, but only making $11,000, which means the ticket prices must have been halved, because according to the math, if the tickets were supposed to be $9.95 and they only made $11,000, then that means that if it doesn't add up, tickets had to have cost $5.50, which is not good.
I might have just filled it in with free tickets.
Oh, you think they papered the event? Yeah.
Well, they just, they wanted to fill in the seats, so they might have just let people in the day of the show.
Wow, man. I didn't even think about it like that, because they're already hemorrhaging so much money as is. I didn't think that they would just give away free tickets like that, but maybe they
Try to
need...
make it back in merchandise and concessions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're a better businessman than I am, Clip.
Eh,
All right, so let us not waste any time and talk about exactly what it is that brought us to this moment in TNA history with our crazy past.
Wait a minute. What happened that got you so crazy?
So first, we have the original midget killer, Puppet the Psycho Dwarf, wants the show to start with midget wrestling. Next, Alicia keeps demanding money from men.
this is my favorite part of the show. Absolutely.
That's the only thing I'm truly interested in so
Yes.
far, which is not good for the show.
No.
Next, we have K Crush does not like hearing about race car driving. He doesn't. Every time it's brought up, he comes out and starts the thing. So again, just to be clear, this is all about race. Car driving. Taylor Vaughn. Taylor Vaughn is Miss TNA. What does that mean? So the
and who is Taylor Vaughn anyway?
Yeah, exactly. We have no information on either of those things. Taylor Vaughn is Miss TNA. End of story. Also, start of story. We have nothing so far.
That's it. Ihorn is Finkel and Finkel is Ihorn.
That's it. Yeah. Next, the Dups will fuck their own sister / cousin / girlfriend, but won't wrestle guys who fuck other men / their own brother, because in WCW, Lenny and Lodi were also brothers at one point. So the Rainbow Express is also, it's like a gay incest group in a way.
But Lodi's not there yet.
That's right, but he's coming. I swear he's gonna show up. No, but yeah, it doesn't make it any better.
The innuendo is easy there.
It's
Portable plum tree.
Yeah,
Whatever
your favorite guy, right?
Oh, Jim Cornette, yes.
Jim Cornette Jr., yes. So Mortimer Plumtree owns his former bullies, the Johnsons. End of story.
He owns them?
He, in his first promo, he said that he owns them.
Oh, okay.
He made it clear that it wasn't like I pay them, I'm their boss. He said own. This is, as far as I'm concerned, a slave type situation.
So I wonder if he makes them wear those outfits. Is this like a fetish thing he's into?
Yeah. Well, see, that's
weird, man. He's got that paddle. This is getting weirder.
Oh, great. See, I didn't go that far. I was just saying because we know that the Johnsons were his former bullies, so maybe he's trying to humiliate them. But even then,
yeah. So maybe it's both what we're both saying.
That's.
I could be projecting. I could be the weird one. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're all a little weird in our own way, I'm sure, but no, not last. Second to last, James Mitchell wants to control the NWA Heavyweight World Title, which is currently being held by Ken Shamrock, and he has to control it as per the request of his god.
His God.
Yeah, James Mitchell has a god, regardless of the fact that he has not mentioned who his god is, and we have not mentioned who our god is. Those gods are not the same god.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did point that out.
Yes.
I remember that now. All right.
And then finally, and most memorable, Jeff Jarrett was screwed over by Jackie Fargo, Toby Keith, and Scott Hall in the first two shows. Also, maybe, sorta, he kind of might have attempted to kill Jackie Fargo.
He absolutely did. I watched it.
I
He wanted everyone to remember.
I want you to remember.
My goodness.
All right, yeah, so if none of that makes any sense to you, how do you think we feel? We've been watching it. That's why it's crazy. All right, so before we start the show, let's do some dark matches because we changed locations. Now we have dark matches again. First is Scotty Saber, also known as Scotty O, who beat Matt Longtime.
What?
Yeah.
That's definitely like Val Venus.
Oh, Matt Longtime, yeah. Oh, okay. And then the other dark match was Team Canada, which I want to point out that the last members of Team Canada in WCW were Lance Storm and Mike Awesome, and that was the year 2001. And then the Team Canada that you know and presume this must be from TNA started in 2004 and consisted of Jack Evans, Teddy Hart, Johnny Devine, and Petey Williams.
Yeah.
It doesn't state who this Team Canada is.
Okay. I would assume it's the latter.
But again,
I just didn't know they were there at this time.
No, but that's the thing. That's not until 2004. That's not another 2 year. That's a 2 years away. That's, you know what I mean? Like,
was Scott D'Amore even with the company then?
I'm not 100% sure if he was. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, even though that's what we have, I mean, it still could be some WCW guy like Elix Skipper who was part of Team Canada at one point. Just
Elix Skipper?
Yeah, remember primetime Elix Skipper? Yeah. He was part of it at one point. Maybe he was like, all right, I'll just go back to that gimmick. I liked it. Or so, you know, like it. I have no information on this. I don't know who Team Canada is.
That's our fault. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, Team Canada beat Chase Stevens and Cassidy O'Reilly. Not then announced, I guess, as the Hot Shots, although they have gear that says that because we see it later on.
That does explain that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who they are. We see them later on. They were jobbers for tonight. Okay. So started it. Oh, what? Hey, what?
If those are the dark matches, they failed because the crowd wasn't too hot that whole night.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know who Team Canada was, so it could have just been two random guys that were like, "You're from Canada, put on a flag, deal with it."
Yep.
So like, who cared? Yeah, that's probably what it was. Who cared? All right. So, do you have anything else?
No, sorry, I had to throw that in.
No, that's fine. Yeah. I didn't actually give you a chance. I didn't talk about him either. We didn't see him, so we couldn't really talk about our opinion on the dark matches. I didn't think you had one. Yeah. No, that's fine. No, you're right. The crowd didn't seem super hot from the start. And maybe that is the dark match's fault. So let's start the show. I fell down a hole. Still don't know if that's the theme music.
It is.
So this show opens with Mike Tenay welcoming us to the eve of Independence Day as we pyro and ballyhoo. This time, they actually keep the house audio closed until the show opens, so there's no one like counting down or saying, not yet.
They're getting better.
They are. No, they actually are getting better, yes.
This might be everyone's first time, this production team, because it really seems like it.
Mike Tenay continues that the first two title defenses will happen tonight, which are Ken Shamrock versus Malice for the NWA World Heavyweight title and AJ Styles versus David Young for the X Division title. Also, we have a tag team title tournament. Also, a tag team main event of Jarrett and Crush versus Hall and Christopher.
Now, what you failed to mention is that Don West is announcing this from on top of a soapbox because all three of them are standing there, and I don't believe today is that tall. Especially if you look at like the shape of him, it definitely seems like from where his shoulders and where his hips are positioned, that there's no way his legs are that long. He's
Yeah.
definitely standing on an apple box for some strange reason.
All
Unless
right.
the other two are hobbits. Don West is tall, isn't he?
I don't know.
I thought he was like at least taller than Tanay. I don't know. How tall do you think Tanay is?
Mike Tenay? I would probably guess Mike Tenay's like 5'6".
See, that's what I'm saying. The way they're making him seem, he seems like 6 foot. And
No,
I was like, there's no way he's
that'd be
standing on a box.
surprising. Yeah.
He's standing on a box.
I type in Don West into the internet and they give me his weight, but not his height. It's
Why am I not surprised by
it's
that?
just the weirdest thing. Here we go. Wikipedia says that Don West is 5'9".
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I believe he's 5'9", but from what they were showing me, then the other two guys are like 5'3".
Let me see now. I want to see. Ed Ferrara is billed at 5'11".
See, that's what I'm saying. They're saying he's taller than Tanay. Tanay was clearly taller than both of them in that shot.
I don't know, man. Yeah, Tenay must have had a.
Just
He must
standing
have
on
been
something
on an apple box.
weird. Are we just gonna not talk about what Ed Ferrara was wearing?
I figured we would get to that in like when we got through the segment because there's only a little bit left, which is
Okay. Oh, there's thoughts there. Okay, that's my mistake.
yeah, there's
I'm
some more.
jumping in.
There's some more. Yeah, you're jumping the gun a little bit. Yeah, after he mentions the tag team matches, they split them up and say, all right, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Don's like, I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited to see Jarrett and Crush get beat, and we'll have this end. And then Ed is like, no. This is about Jarrett and Crush getting revenge, getting vengeance. And then Tenay introduces the NWA president, Jim Miller. He says he was touring Japan, and that's why he wasn't here last week. And he found a surprise. He presents a trophy to the TNA to welcome them to the NWA. And the surprise he has is a match set for a big Japanese guy, Amori, against the NWA champion next week, whomever that is, because there's a title match later on tonight. Segment length, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Your thoughts?
Did you feel a little uneasy when he was like, "Oh, I ran into a big Japanese guy"?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, just say his name. What do you?
Yeah. Well, he did, and he technically said it wrong because he's like, I ran into Amori, and his name is Omori. So he put the wrong vowel there in the beginning.
He made it like that was a defining thing about him. So I was like, oh, is he talking about Inoki? Because he's pretty tall.
Right. Yeah, I was more concerned about how he was like, oh, I wasn't here last week because I was doing let's 8 day. It was an 8-day tour. I'm like, are you forming an alibi in your head in front of us? Like, did you really have any business being in Japan? Because I don't know about you, but when Jim Miller comes on screen, I instantly get flashbacks to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Frank, when he did the kids' beauty pageant.
Yeah.
Because he had that, like, makeup on his face, but it was, like, just the outline of his face.
Just
like,
the outline of his face, and it's completely white, pale, like fat coming
right.
out.
Yeah, exactly. He was super,
Whatever you
super
wanna call it.
suspicious. I was waiting for him to be like, well, we don't diddle kids. We don't do that here in the TNA. Like, that's what I felt like.
It's like he had a big pot of honey and he was just like sticking his head in there and licking it out. That's why he just has it just covering that part of his face. It's the only part of his head that could like really get into the pot of honey.
Okay, yeah.
That's where my head. He looks like Winnie the Pooh.
I guess, yeah. I was concerned, man, because he was just, he had that Frank's beauty pageant thing going. He was like, I was in Japan for legal reasons, total legal reasons. And I'm just like,
The whole time I'm like, who are you? I don't know who you are, Jim Miller.
Yeah, I was more concerned about last week when we were like, quick, young Chris Harris and James Storm, take your shirts and get out there. And I'm like, is this the guy who makes that happen? No shirts. I don't want anybody with shirts. Oh.
But if anyone asks, I was in Japan.
I was in Japan, if anybody asks. Eight, how many days? 6, 8 days. 8 days I was in Japan.
Also, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we get
a welcoming trophy?
Yeah, that was weird, right?
What is a welcoming trophy?
I don't know.
I don't know how you welcome someone with a trophy.
Well, he did it. He certainly did. Although
at first I thought he was giving it to Tanay, and Tanay was like, "Oh, thank you. Yes, I'll take it." And I'm like, "What? What did he do?"
Yeah, because it didn't seem that prestigious either way.
Yeah.
it just seemed like he gave him, he was like, "I want to present you with this trophy," and today was like, "Okay, well, what's the surprise?" And I was like, "Wow, today?"
Yeah. I don't care about this thing. Thanks.
You know, that's like one of those shitty things where like someone's like, "I got you a present, and here's a doll," and you're like, "Cool, thanks for this doll. Where's my present?" You're like, "What?"
Is this the card?
Yeah. Oh, I get it. This is the piñata that I smash open for my present.
This
This
once,
porcelain doll. Oh, wow.
once,
And then
what a
yeah,
time.
so I think we could talk about it now, which is how I guess Don West and Ed Ferrara like switch clothing.
That what is Don West wearing? He has like a completely bright red, black pinstripes with like a tap dancer's bright red bow tie. It's like a
Hey,
sparkly bow tie.
like it almost looks like he stole Father James Mitchell's clothes in a way,
Yeah,
because he is definitely dressed like Hell's Carnival Barker.
it doesn't quite fit him. It's a little too big.
No. And then maybe not like size wise, but Ed Ferrara looks like he's wearing Don West's clothes. Like, because he looks like a guy who just got back from Margaritaville.
He's got like the white pants, the nice button down orange like Florida button down. That what he's only using like a few of the buttons. He needs to use a few more.
And I feel like it had like, what was that? Like a woven shawl he was wearing or something, or
It was like the same material of like the first episode, that purple fuzzy shirt. I think that's like a gimmick he's going with. I think he wants that like fuzzy
oh, was
material.
it?
That's him.
Oh, I thought it was like some weird like cargo netting type thing, or
Oh, was that it? I don't know.
it looked like very like satchel type. I don't know.
And Tanae was wearing the same suit he's been wearing, and I presume he will continue to wear until the day he dies.
I already told you. He goes home at night and he takes off his head to recharge. That's just his body. All right, so segment 1. James Storm and Wildcat Chris Harris versus Mortimer Plumtree's The Johnsons. I don't know who gave him the money, but Storm enters with straight up pyro guns this week. They're not like little spoot cappers like pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
They're rigged to the in-house pyros.
Getting over big.
So Mortimer Plumtree enters and shows us all that he is completely insane. Did you understand this promo at all that he cut?
No, because I was too busy trying to listen to the music.
Oh, were you?
Yes. Whatever, because I think it changed again. But it's still the same concept of we're just going to put like 6 audios over each other.
It's like there's like this weird like where like they morph into each other too in it.
I have, it sounded like a police dispatch radio, the inside of a hive of bees, bad rock music, someone yelling, and dark, ominous sounds all at once. That's all the sounds I heard.
the inside of a beehive.
Yes!
I mean, that's probably right. That's probably right. Like I said, I was focused on the promo because it didn't make any sense, and even the parts that did were insane.
What did he say?
He says, "The stars are shining bright, the planets are in alignment, and tonight 1,000 events culminate in this very moment." And that's the part that made sense.
Yeah?
Then he gets, "It is not the one for need. It is not the one need for wants. He is a God-given divine right. And my servants, Richard and Rod, step into this ring, do my bidding, claim my crown, and gild me in gold. Dear, harsh, and kind people, I give to you my NWA World Tag Team Champions, the Johnsons."
What's wrong with this man?
What's wrong with him? None of that even makes any sense.
Wait, so he was like writing a story with his whole stars shining bright, planets alignments, and then started like quoting scriptures with "it's not the one for need and heed and want and God." And then
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm just gonna get gold now." Because this is for like the tournament, right? They're moving on for the NWA titles.
Right, yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah,
And what is he? He's just some rich kid who
probably.
owns his bullies, but he's just talking like this for some reason now out of nowhere.
I
I don't
guess.
understand what he wants
Yeah.
to do with his life.
No, I don't get it either. I don't get it either. So commentary talks about how Storm and Harris were thrown together last week with no experience as a tag team and won. The match starts. Storm gets tossed around, coming back once or twice, but not making the tag. Literally walks towards Harris at one point and stops himself. The Johnsons tag in and out, doing mostly big tosses, flapjacks, and the like. Same stuff from last week. Nothing new. Ed says, this is typical, I'm just going to put myself over style commentary because it doesn't really do anything for anyone. Ed says Mortimer Plumtree hasn't called his mother in 15 years because she tucks him into bed every night, and that's when they catch up.
Yeah, it's whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Every time he did it a few times. Nothing really resonated with me. Any of his jokes. He needs to try harder for me.
Yeah. Harris gets the mild tag because it's broken down almost immediately. Ed says, now I see what everyone was talking about. The Johnsons really work stiff.
He got it in. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
I really didn't think for a second they weren't going to do it. I was like,
I-
okay, they're just commentating normally. This is different.
Right.
And they snuck it in. I was like, okay, there it is. Whatever.
I kind of almost hate it a little more because for some reason, like, it pops somebody, like I think TNA.
Yeah, it got him.
He's like, I was like, really? All right.
I did chuckle. I don't know why. I want to assume I didn't like it, but he might have gotten me.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely more like a laugh at than with. I was just like,
Because like I said, it wasn't overbearing like they did the first match.
That's true. So Harris goes for a crossbody. He's caught, but Storm hits a missile drop kick and knocks them down for the pin and the 3, and the crowd erupts as James Storm and Wildcat Chris Harris advance in the tag team tournament. But their music stops to focus on Mortimer in the ring. So post-match, Mortimer pushes the Johnsons around and yells at them. One of them picks Mortimer up for a chokeslam, but puts him down and then pushes him to the ground and leaves.
So badly done.
Right. And then the other one follows him.
I don't know what they were supposed to do there. I feel like they did it wrong, though.
That's what it felt like to me. It felt like something went wrong, but I don't know what. So Mortimer pleads that they can be friends and limps after them. We cut to the dancing girls, and TNA reminds us that Shamrock versus Malice will still happen tonight.
Yeah.
Match length, 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Segment length, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Oh, I didn't write down how long the post-match segment was. Probably not more than 2 minutes. Yeah, your thoughts?
I thought it was one of the better matches in TNA, finally.
Really?
Yeah. The Johnsons did what they do. They came out and did all their muscle work, proving that they were the bigger men. The other two had to be quick, out-wrestle them. That's what they did until they got the heat drawn on them, got the hot tag. It was all simple, basic storytelling, but it all worked, and everyone got over with what they needed to get over, especially at the end when they broke up from Mortimer, whatever his name is. Say his name for me.
Mortimer Plumtree.
Especially for especially for Plumtree.
Yep.
I can't say that first one.
That's all right.
No, but I really enjoyed it. I think it worked.
That's all right. Good. Because I kind of didn't. Like, my whole feelings were like, I don't understand who would ever get any sort of a rub from the Johnsons. Like,
Yeah.
It seemed like the only people who it seems like would get the rub from this are the Johnsons, and that seems like it would blow up in your face.
Well, come on! Can't do that, damn it.
Hours I worked on that joke. No. Threw it together while I was drunk, just like Ferrara did. Also, the most important thing about this match. You ready for this?
Yeah, please.
This is the last time we see the Johnsons wrestle. Yeah, so what happened with the Johnsons? Why did they break up from Mortimer Plumtree?
I can't wait to find out.
Say their piece? Maybe they won't have a match that culminates from it. They might come back and be like, this is why we hate him. But after that, it's goodbye forever.
Is this when they go to WWE, or were they already there?
Oh, I didn't look into that.
I forgot when they were there.
Yeah, I did not look into that.
This is 2002. Oh, I think they probably go
Ooh.
there now.
They probably do, yeah.
Yeah, they picked them up.
So segment 2, Jeremy Borash introduces wrestling's real outlaw, Scott Hall.
Who else is walking around trying to be the outlaw? I still want to know.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find any more of those guys from the past. So Scott Hall grabs a mic and eventually says, "Hey, yo." Jeff Jarrett enters.
Smartest thing they could have done for Scott Hall in his
Yeah,
promo.
exactly.
Just say that and play his music. Boom.
Jeff Jarrett says the same promo, almost word for word, that he cut on Toby Keith at the first show, but adds, "bitch."
Oof. He means business.
Yeah. Scott Hall says, "Chico, don't sing it, bring it." And then NWA president Jim Fatbody, because I couldn't remember his name when I was writing this, but NWA president Jim Miller says, "You don't run this place, the NWA does. Accept it or leave." And Jarrett's like, "Okay, I'll leave." But K Crush attacks Hall from behind. However, it does not work. And Crush gets hit with the last call and then clotheslined out of the ring. Post promo, don't forget about that it's $9.95 for the show on pay-per-view or here in the arena. Either way, wait a minute, what's happening backstage? Segment length 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Your thoughts?
I thought it all worked again. They used Scott Hall smart. He
Okay.
didn't talk too much. He used a line that everyone knew so they could all get behind it, which he always does. He's not the smartest linguist. Double J came out, hyped up the main event.
Yeah.
Ron Killings came in for the attack, but Hall still gets the rub. Everyone's involved. It all worked.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the better shows they're running so far in the beginning.
It is. Yes. It did work. I didn't have wrestling wise thoughts on it like that. I just was just like, "Oh my god, like I forgot what like I can't that bitch at the end." Like just out of nowhere almost. Where he was like, "I don't want to see you. Nobody wants to see you. Get out of here. Nobody likes you, bitch." And I was just like, "Why?" I was just like, "Is masculinity so fragile?"
It's like, what can I say? What am I allowed to get away with? What are you not going to bleep? He was just hyping himself up. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say bitch. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Bitch.
It's just so childish to me. It's like, what? Wow, I'm a big, strong man. What can I do? Say bitch. Ah, that's it, bitch. What are you gonna do after you call? What is the purpose of calling me a bitch? What are you gonna do? You gonna fuck me and make me not come? Because that's what most men do. So
Wow.
is that your plan? Is that your big manly plan? Why don't you go home and hug your father?
I would back down anyone.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Someone calls me a bitch, I go, "Well, you fucking take your dick out and fuck me like one." Because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gonna do make me come? Sounds like I win. What are you gonna do? Not make me come? Oh yeah, big man, you are.
Why?
Yeah.
What a paradox.
Boom! Boom! I just destroyed fragile masculinity. Oh. All right, so
You deserve an award.
tell that to the president. So, segment 3. Goldilocks is in the locker room of Chris Harris and James Storm. They have been attacked to a bloody pulp. Vice President Bill Behrens asks for EMTs and for Goldie to leave. Segment length 20 seconds. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Intrigue. Questions. I'm drawn in. But like I don't know. It's just like an overused thing. And especially with TNA. And I feel as we're going to see for this episode, especially where we're just running back. What's happening here? What's happening over here? Let's run everywhere.
I mean, I am genuinely interested in who tried to beat these men to death. Like, because I don't know if they say it immediately, but they eventually like, "Oh, do you think it was one of their opponents later on?" Then I'm like, whoever did that isn't even definitely facing them yet. That's a bit of a premature action there
Yeah.
to beat up the guys in your next match instead of your next match.
That guy's like, this isn't gonna happen around here. Yeah, we'll see if it happens again.
No, yeah, it's yeah. Who I mean, but who do you think it is? Because I mean, there's only been one man in the history of TNA so far that has a history of attempted murder.
Wait, who? Which one?
Cheeks.
Oh God,
Squish that man.
death.
Death. Yeah, he's dead. All right, so segment 4 in the ring, local talent Anthony Ingram versus
Abyss.
yeah, it's Abyss. Omega.
I
He's
like it with,
gonna be the one.
yeah, I like it with the lyrics.
But they don't make any sense because
I know.
it's the theme song to the alpha male Monty Brown. And it's all
Singing
about
about
Omega.
Omega. Yeah.
Omega. Omega's gonna be the one, and he's gonna, et cetera, et cetera. So midway down the ramp, he gets on the mic and he says that he wants the NWA title or the NWA TNA title from Ken Shamrock. The commentary spends the entire match talking about what just happened in segment 3, how it could have been either the Rainbow Express or Buff and Apollo. Oh, also, by the way, the other competitors in the tag team tournament are those people, the Rainbow Express and Buff and Apollo. Like,
What?
can they just casually mention it? No big
Just
deal.
toss it in there.
Alpha Bomb gets the 3. Match is over.
Boom, squash match. It was
Yeah.
great. This guy looks like a star. Never seen him before. I'm in love with him.
Post match, they're already off the ring and on the Dancing Girls, while commentary is like, man, the alpha male size and confidence, it's really impressive. And then also, don't forget, Ken Shamrock still has a world title match later. I'm like, why do you keep reminding us? We know, we paid for it.
They don't show any like graphics or anything.
No,
Oh,
I presume that
Dancing
costs too much.
girls. The dancing
Yeah.
girls.
Yes, Dancing
That's
Girls, of
so
course.
good.
And then right before it ends, they go, let's go back to Goldilocks and NWA President Jim Miller. But segment's over. Match length 1 minute and 31 seconds. And I think I might have went over on that estimate. And segment length 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Do you have any thoughts?
I already basically said him. It's a great squash match. Bonnie Brown. He
No,
looks
yeah.
like a star. He's
Absolutely.
promo. I liked his phrasing and just everything he said. He's going for Shamrock.
Yeah,
He looks great.
he does.
His jobber wasn't that great because he had to like literally power him around. He
True.
didn't like help him at all. But yeah, I'm in love with Monty Brown. First time I'm seeing him, so it was a great segment.
No, Monty Brown did great. The only problem I have is I wish that the commentary didn't spend all their time talking about something that's going to get 3 more segments on the show.
That's my overall thoughts of this episode. Is there's way too much happening at once a lot of the
All right,
times.
yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
Don't jump ahead. Hang on.
yeah.
Segment 5. Backstage, Goldie asks Teamsters if they've seen NWA President Jim Miller, even though
Oh.
Tenay just said we're going to go to an interview with her and Jim Miller. Apparently, they don't check anything beforehand.
Those were not Teamsters. Those were security guards.
Those were secure. Oh, whatever. I thought they
I've
were like.
seen those security guards in many segments.
Oh
holding
my
people back.
god! You know what? Yeah, now
And they
that
look like they have never seen a woman before in their entire life as they're staring at Goldilocks.
it has been a good year since I've been to an independent wrestling show, and now that I think about it, yes, that is what independent wrestling show security looks like.
Yep, that's them to a T.
So Goldilocks looks at the camera and goes, "Oh, I looked everywhere. I don't know where Jim Miller is. I have nothing for you." But then dark match wrestlers, the Hot Shots, walk by, and she's like, "Oh, wait, have you seen President Jim Miller?" And they're like, "No." And she's like, "Well, I don't know what to do. I guess this is the end of the segment." And she gets what?
Contrary to what I said earlier, the Hot Shots when they walked by got a slight pop from the crowd, so they probably did do a good job on their dark match.
I guess, yeah.
There was a weird slight pop for them, which I do have to mention because there wasn't many pops for anything during the show.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Maybe people just weren't like that into the Johnsons and stuff like that. So they were just like, oh, this is what we're getting seg 1. I'm not giving you anything. So yes, the original midget killer puppet, the Psycho Dwarf, pulls her to her knees and he starts cutting a promo with her. And he's like, all these other, what little people. I'll censor myself for no reason.
Oh,
All the other little people, even though that phrase sounds like it's also wrong to say.
that's their word. You can't
That's
say it.
But I'm almost positive that's the word that they want me to call them. Because I think dwarfs is also offensive, even though it's dwarfism. Look, we've been through this every time it comes up. I don't know. Peter Dinklage, even he was like, I don't know what the right word is. It's person to person. Don't ask me. That's weird.
See?
So yeah. So anyway,
So the Ewok.
yes. So Puppet, the Psycho Dwarf, says that all the other midgets have been stealing my limelight, and that why can't they fight me like 80s child actor Gary Coleman or
Reaction.
What?
Reaction.
Oh, did they react? Yeah.
Maybe. That's what he's going for.
Well, maybe he wanted a reaction from Austin Powers movie franchise crutch, Mini-Me.
Reaction.
We don't even know his real name yet. Like, he's still just Mini-Me.
What is his real name?
Vern Troyer.
Vern?
Yeah.
Okay, Vern.
Or was his name.
Did he legally change it?
No, he's dead.
Oh. Legally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. And then he also calls out Beetlejuice from the FM radio program, The Howard Stern Show.
Oh, yeah, because everyone knows it. Well, he was on WCW, so whatever.
Yeah. He says, I want to see a midget bleed, and that's a promise. And then post-interview, the commentators are like, so does Puppet want to commit dwarf genocide? And they're like, yeah, I think so. I think he does. Segment length, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, my thoughts, I have to say, because this is like legit. Here is my kayfabe question for the show. Here it is.
All right.
Does Puppet really think that Gary Coleman is going to see him being called a has-been in the year 2002 and get angry and challenge Puppet to a wrestling match? Or that Mini-Me is going to be upset by Puppet claiming that he stole movie parts from him and that he'll challenge him to a wrestling match? Because that's insane. Even in kayfabe, it's insane.
See some crazy things in wrestling, my friend.
Because, I mean, look, Gary Coleman declared bankruptcy in 1999, so he already knows he's a has-been.
Okay, so
Like,
he's looking for money.
He's looking for... That's the thing, though. He already has money on the uprise, because do you remember the video game Postal 2?
Yeah.
That's coming out in, like, this year. Like, he's on the upswing at this point.
Wait, why is Postal 2 relevant to him?
He's in that game.
He is?
He's like the main villain of that game. Well, not about the main villain, but he's
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember those commercials now. Okay.
Yeah, he was a big selling point for that game.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I say he is definitely on the upswing. He starts, I mean, it's commercials, but he starts starring in things.
Mhm.
And then again, Vern Troyer, Austin Powers Goldmember, comes out in 23 days. He is not having a wrestling match.
Yeah.
He is
good.
not.
He's
No,
set for now.
yeah.
He's gonna start getting fat.
Let me get closer to the mic. I got angry and I pushed myself away. And then there's also Beetlejuice, who has already been hit in the head by Jeff Jarrett at WCW. He's not going to take the chance again.
Yeah.
He's not showing up and getting a guitar to the brain. No one
Did it. Got the t-shirt. He's done.
I don't get, like, from a kayfabe standpoint, I don't get what Puppet thinks he's going to accomplish by doing this. No one would accept a match from him. He is like the midget New Jack. Who is going to wrestle that guy? Rookies who don't know any better.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I guess. All right. Do you have any thoughts?
The only thing I really liked was they had Puppet come in, pull down Goldilocks to her knees, so they were like level.
Yes.
Instead of her hunched down or whatever. I'm like, oh, that was kind of a smart thing.
I like that as well. Yes.
And Goldilocks was a lot better in this promo. I didn't feel like she was like a manager to him. But now she just needs to work on expressing and emoting to the camera after every sentence. Basically, she needs to not be Jim from The Office.
Right.
It's really annoying. She looks at him and he says something, and she looks at the camera and makes a face and then looks back. And it's just like, and it's every sentence. Like she's the punctuation mark.
She's trying to do like a Mean Gene, but it's not as subtle as Mean Gene.
Oh no, it's like down your throat.
Yeah.
Like Slick Johnson.
You gotta throw him under a bus real quick, huh?
Yeah, there was no pun or innuendo. I just hate Slick Johnson.
There you go. Okay, segment 6. Push! Being sort of accompanied to the ring by Joel Gertner, the Rainbow Express, because he runs like way, way ahead of them and he doesn't get into the ring with them and he never shares a camera with them.
I'm not associated with these men.
Yeah, like, he ran because the music started and he ran out,
Yeah.
like literally ran out and was just,
Like he was the referee.
and like stuck his tongue out to the camera, and then kept running. And I was like, what the hell just happened?
Is that what they're saying in the beginning? Push?
I'm almost positive that's what it is. Push.
I always assumed they were just saying Bush. I don't know why, but that's what I hear.
I don't know. Once again, TNA lies to us about them being too controversial for WCW. I'm not over it, but let's move on. Backstage, Goldie is with Buff Bagwell and Apollo, and she says Buff is tonight's surprise entrance for the tag tournament. Buff takes offense to that and insults her by calling her Goldie Lick. I don't get either of it. Why he's offended or how Goldie Lick is offensive.
Yeah, was he announced? Like, why is it an offense to be a surprise entrance?
No, I mean, he kind of sort of wasn't because TNA mentioned it. So it was semi-announced, but it wasn't because nobody told us officially. Buff says that he's going to win because he's got the number 2 man in the business because Buff's number 1. Tell him, Apollo. All right, that's enough. They don't understand you. Let's go to the ring.
I love this new tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I'm in love.
All right.
You don't like it?
I mean, what is there to like? The racist old guy and confused Apollo? Like, what is this tag team?
You're just selling it more.
Okay. I'm glad it's getting over with someone. All right, so Not Smooth by Not Santana as Not face Buff Bagwell and Apollo enter. TNA lists Buff Bagwell's other tag partners that he's won gold with as the Rainbow Express hug and butt grab each other. The match starts with Bagwell showboating, not hot dogging, and the Rainbow Express take control. Commentary says this is way too important of a match for him not to take it seriously. After they say that this match is way too important, the camera cuts away, and we see Alicia walking to the commentary booth, and Ed Ferrara focuses on her and happily gives her money and says, "Oh yeah, schedule me in for next Friday, please, thanks." Yeah.
Giving you a little more info right there.
All right, so you got to book her.
Schedule me in? What does that mean?
You have to book her for something, yeah, or book someone else for something. Maybe she's a middleman to something.
I want to know.
So back in the ring, Apollo is now in control. Lenny's chops have no effect to Apollo, so Lenny plays with Apollo's nipples instead. Because it was super awkward.
Come on!
Yeah, I mean, you're just... Don't push it off on us!
It's wrestling!
Apollo hits a sit-out scoop slam, but Joel gets involved and the Rainbow Express take control again. Ed commends Don for accepting the talent and skill of the Rainbow Express this week and for not being disgusted by their antics. Don admits he's being objective, right as he gets disgusted by a crawl pin. He was
Perfect
literally, I refuse to believe that they planned it out. Like, it was so good. He was just like, well, like, you're not doing anything weird this. And he's like, well, when you look at it objectively, you just have to say, oh, come on, what is that? Like, TNA once again mentions Apollo's basketball history as a foundation for his jumping ability.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. Again. Oh, he's a basketball player. He can jump. How did the Rainbow Express do a leapfrog attack to him then? The gay agenda? El Nino? Super Brawl Saturday? I don't know! Bagwell gets the mild tag because the crowd just doesn't care.
I told you.
They really, yeah. Almost every hot tag is met with, hey.
What are they there for?
I don't know. And I'm almost positive this is like the first of 2 tapings. Like, I'm pretty sure episode 4 is the second half of this same night.
Ugh. You're gonna leave.
So Bagwell showboats. Again, not hot dogs. They keep calling it showboating. He goes for a crossbody on Lenny, and it is somehow both landed perfectly and a complete failure. And both men go to the outside. Like, he hits the crossbody and it is beautiful, but they just bounce off the ropes and collapse and roll outside under the ring.
Oh yeah.
It looked good, but also bad.
Yeah.
Apollo super kicks Bruce and then hits a TKO.
One of the most beautiful super kicks I've ever seen.
It's pretty good, yeah. Lenny enters, ducks a line, and Apollo goes to the outside over the top. Buff hits a blockbuster on Bruce and then showboats. And Lenny hits like a super thrust kick because there's a lot of force behind it. And he gets the 3. Post-match, Rainbow Express celebrate up the ramp, but in the ring, Apollo consoles Buff. But Buff doesn't want to hear it and rolls outside of the apron. Buff is sad and mumbles to himself. Ed gives him a mic and he says, "I'm not Buff. I'm Marcus. I had a great career and it gave me nothing. I got beat by 2 gay guys. I'm done. I'm Marcus and I'm going home." And he gives Ed his airbrushed top hat and then leaves down like off the side of the ramp. Tenay says, "It's about time Buff rethought his career decisions or his career choices." Sorry. And Don agrees. "Yeah, he sucked tonight."
Jesus.
Ed says, "Buff looked sad and we'll never see him again." They all agree. He's done. Promo length, the promo all the way at the beginning, if you remember that. That was 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Okay.
Match length, 8 minutes and 48 seconds. Full segment length, 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Your thoughts?
There was too much going on the whole segment. I really wanted to know what was going on with the Alicia thing, so I was waiting for that. But Apollo barely got a shine, and it was during that. So you missed his entire shine.
Right.
And I was like, poor Apollo. Like,
That
of
happened
course you got all the buff stuff.
Yeah, that happened last week too with
He was
Apollo, where
throwing himself around that ring. How big is he's like 6'6" or something? It's like 265.
at least
And he was
6'4",
like
yeah.
throwing his head down on the mat, doing like headstands for like dangerous styles, and like flipping. I was like, not even like over the top flipping and stuff. Like I'm making
No.
it seem too much, but
Good,
he just had like
convincing,
great
yeah.
control of his body. And I was like, oh, they have no idea what they have right here.
Yeah, that's a bit of a story right now for TNAs. They don't know what they have.
And I hated the ending. Other than I liked that Bagwell was showboating and it costed him.
Right.
Lenny finished it with a really weak super kick after Apollo hit a beautiful, awesome one. The crowd popped for, and then no one cared about his.
Yeah.
1.5 stars.
1.5 stars. Okay. Again, we don't do a star system, but it's getting one. It's getting one. My thoughts are: this is week 3, and we've already seen a wrestler break down and quit the business.
Did he quit, or is he going home to rethink everything?
I mean, why did he say? I mean, the match is over. What do you mean? I'm going home. Yeah, of course you're going home. The match is over. Why would he say it that way unless he meant like from wrestling?
Jeez.
Like, to me, it seemed like, yeah, I am gone forever.
And he doesn't think very highly of the gays.
Yeah, that's the second person we've had who are just like, I'm not. Ugh, again?
I got beat by 2 gay guys. Let's call it as it is, huh? That's pretty bad. All right.
Yeah.
Jeez, Marcus.
I don't understand how the Rainbow Express are over. Because I heard pops and chants and saw signs.
I saw that one sign.
I heard some people chanting Bruce.
I like his intensity.
I just don't get like to me it doesn't make any sense. Like for me it's like reverse X-Pac heat. Like you shouldn't like these guys, but you do. Like it's the Rainbow Express pop.
That'll show them we accept them.
It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand. Like imagine if today a wrestler was like, you know, I'm transgendered and I'm gonna follow you into the bathroom and try to fuck you, and people are like, yay! Like why?
It's what we expect from you, and you're doing it.
Why is that over? I look like the opposite sex, but my genitals are the same sex, and that's confusing, and I did it on purpose to mess with you.
And the crowd goes wild.
Like, what? What is this gimmick? Why is it over? Been on a tireless medical journey of examination and embarrassing paperwork, all just to make you feel icky. The evil transgender. Like, why is that over? It shouldn't be. Wrestling makes no sense. Segment 7. We introduce Mr. Fight, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Shamrock says he's confused. Monty Brown doesn't deserve a title shot, but he's asking for one? Oh, well, if you can get a match in 2 weeks from now, then Shamrock says, I will shove your head up your ass, Monty.
Whoa.
Lights out. Spotlight on James Mitchell. Don't worry about Malice. Oh, don't worry about anyone but Malice. Sorry.
It's okay, James.
I forgot my line. I apologize. Let's take it back from 1, everyone. Don't worry about anyone but Malice. Spotlight on a laid out Shamrock with Malice standing over him. EMTs put a neck brace on Shamrock. That's bad. Let's go to Goldie. Segment length 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Your thoughts?
How come in a show about people fighting are we not allowed to see people get laid out? We just saw 2 people get laid out backstage, and this time they did it in front of everyone, but they put the lights out and then showed you who it was, but they didn't want to show you him getting laid out.
But how did he do it? The lights were off. We don't know.
That's the intrigue.
That's the mystery
that no one's asking.
Yeah. My thoughts are, so neck brace. I guess this match isn't happening, huh?
Yeah.
Because neck brace, that's bad.
He's out for good.
Right? For like a couple of months.
He's
right?
going to the hospital. You don't put that on to go to the back. You put that on to go to the hospital.
And then my other thoughts are, oh my God, I forgot about the what chance. I totally forgot how awful those were. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that was happening during this promo, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, poor Shamrock. Why him too?
Well, see, that's the other thing, though. That's my other opinion on the what chance in general, which is they're kind of indicative of wrestling at the time. Because promos by everyone were so paint by numbers and bland that that chant worked with every single one of them. No matter who came out there, they cut a promo in the exact same way, where they would say what they felt they needed to say, take a weird break in between, like they were waiting for the audio to echo, even though that's not really a problem in American stadiums anymore. Like, yeah, do you see how easily you could throw a what in there when you're like, all right, your promo is so repetitious and paint by numbers with the breaks that it's hypnotic and I'm getting bored.
Well, that's Ken Shamrock. That's who taught him. He learned in WWF at the time.
Right, yeah. And a lot of people cut promos that way, so it's so easy to just fall into the trance of like, all right, this is a boring promo. What? At least that brings me back into it. And at the same time,
annoying though still.
I know, but at the same time, that chant lasted for like, what, a decade? How did not a single wrestler have the ability to stop it? How did no one have no control over the crowd with such degree for a decade that they just ran rampant? Like nobody could entertain them to a point where they'd shut up.
Yeah, no one wants to fight the crowd.
That's the thing. Nobody wanted to stick up and be like, shut your mouths. I'm doing a show. Shut your mouths.
Customer's always right.
No, not when they make you want to quit. All right, so segment 8. Goldie is trying to get a word with Bill Behrens. Bill is shouting into a phone, trying to get in contact with someone who keeps putting him on hold. Jerry Lynn interrupts and says, hey, Bill, if I can get a partner tonight, then I can replace them, and boom, problem solved. Bill says he doesn't have time for anything. Everyone leave. They do. Segment length, 50 seconds. Your thoughts?
Could have done without it. I felt like it was almost pointless.
Right.
Didn't really. They could have done that like in a commentator segment.
Yeah, my thoughts were remember Jerry Ling was an idiot for not going to Bill already having a partner.
What if
Like,
I find someone?
Yeah, well, what if pigs flat on my butt, Jerry? What do you mean? What if? Go find a partner and then tell me you have a problem that you can solve. Like,
Yeah.
what ifs?
Yeah, I felt it had no purpose.
Yeah, it was dumb. Other than to set up the match later on, which it doesn't, because it doesn't
Yep.
confirm anything. Like, it was still a random, like,
It ruins one half of the surprise that Jerry Lynn is one of the tag teams in the match later.
yeah, in a way, yeah.
That's about it.
So segment 9, Puppet enters and shouts to the crowd to bow to him.
Ugh, midget matches.
Yeah, this is it. I don't know if you realized it, but it was during the entrance when I realized Puppet's shirt, his shirt that's like Psych Ward 666, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That is a store-bought novelty t-shirt that he drew barbed wire and words on with a permanent
yeah.
marker.
Yeah, you
I-
didn't realize that?
Not at first. I thought that was his merchandise, and then I realized no, he bought a shirt from a store and then drew on it with Sharpie, which is so funny to me because no, he's absolutely right. That absolutely is something you would see at independent shows right around this time. I remember seeing ECW guys do that in locker rooms at independent shows around 2005, 2006, when they were all back in the indie scenes and weren't part of a major company.
Exactly,
You could
yep.
actually see that. I remember all the time you'd see Balls Mahoney come in with like 4 Sharpies just drawn on a shirt, and you're like, why don't you just, like, why? That unique art piece is thrown out every night. Unique art like that.
It gets ripped up. It's hardcore.
Yeah, man, it was. No,
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. Copyright.
Great, thanks. Puppet wants to fight a midget. Enter Todd Stone. Puppet beats him with a kendo stick as he enters the ring, and the match starts. It's followed up by a trash can, some more trash can work, and then Puppet points to welts on Todd Stone's back, and he's like, "We got blood!"
He said you were going to get it.
It wasn't a lot, but I guess it was good enough for him. He hits a TKO on a trash can, and that's a 3. Puppet does. He hits a TKO on a trash can, and that's a 3. Puppet wins. Post-match, Puppet hits the ref and JB with a kendo stick, chasing them and following them out of the ring. And then at the commentaries table, Don West is like, "Yeah, this man, way to go, little guy," and reaches up for a high five, but then Puppet attacks Don with the stick and then chases the ref and JB up the ramp to the back. Match length, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Segment length, 6 minutes. Your thoughts?
Could have done without it. It doesn't do anything for me, even if it is a hardcore match. They need their sized weapons. It just doesn't have the same inflection, like impact, I guess. Every time someone lands on a garbage can, I'm like, it doesn't seem like you did too much damage.
No, yeah, it's just, yeah. Oh, that's how I feel about everything with midget wrestling. It's like, yeah, I want you to be a part of the show. I want you to feel included, but you have to admit it's an entirely different thing that's happening. You need a different sized ring. You need a different trainer. You need different it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. With that said, it gets 1 star.
Why are you starring things? Out of how many stars is this? 100?
That's never explained. Anyway, it deserves 0 stars, but it gets 1 star because Slick Jackson got beat up with a kendo stick.
Yes,
and I
got beat. Okay.
It was the best part of the whole entire match.
Yeah, it like for me, it was just you really shouldn't have an opinion on it because it was just a cathartic trash match. But the problem is, it wasn't even that cathartic. It was really actually kind of a lame trash match.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't comedic enough to be a midget match, and it wasn't hardcore enough to be a real hardcore match because they only used 2 weapons like 3 times each.
Poor man was getting so beat. And he had like this whole entrance and came out all serious like he was someone, and I'm like, who am I looking at?
Yeah. He didn't even get fully in the ring before he was being beat down. Like he's got nothing behind him.
Oof.
All right, segment 10. Goldie is with Ken Shamrock. Sorry, I think this might be my favorite promo.
Okay.
Goldie is with Ken Shamrock and EMTs. Will he be okay? Can he wrestle later? They say they don't know, but Ken Shamrock is writhing in his chair and he's not really coherent. Segment length 28 seconds.
I mean, it seems pretty clear.
Yeah. Like at one point, he like they're just like, well, do you think Ken Shamrock's gonna be okay, or what do you think? And they're like, well, we're not really sure. You know, we have to do more tests and stuff like that. And then Ken Shamrock's just like, and starts to stand up, and they're like, Ken Shamrock, please sit down, Ken, sit down. And he's like, and sit back down, like he's a disgruntled homeless man. Like, get out of my house! Hey, the war.
The war.
Oh,
And
man.
why are we checking on Shamrock? What happened to AMW? Are they okay?
Apparently they're fine.
They, they were bleeding everywhere.
Yes, I know.
And they're not even women.
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, they bleed all the time everywhere.
Oh, come on.
Whoops.
Good Lord.
Ba-dum-ts.
What have you been watching too much TNA?
Demographic.
Yeah, really. I just can't believe wrestling of the past. Oh my God. This man was attacked from behind from the point of needing a neck brace, and he seems to be having trouble with his coherence as if he's in some sort of a fugue state. But he can still do his job of fighting a man, right?
Can he?
Apparently.
She never went to any sort of like biology class, medical
No.
training.
That is not.
But is he okay?
He's having like a walking seizure. What are you like?
But is he fine? I don't know. They're giving me nothing.
I don't know. Thanks, Goldie. Segment 11. We recap the lingerie battle royal. It's a clusterfuck in pajamas,
Yeah.
but not the kind you'd want. Ed grabs Francine's boob, and she whips him with a belt. Taylor Vaughn wins. That's the recap of the lingerie battle royal.
During that recap, when she's taken off Ferrara's belt, that's the time that I actually got the joke when he was like, Today says, oh, I thought the winner was supposed to get a job here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you cheeky little.
That went right over my head last time.
So, Francine versus Taylor Vaughn.
Who?
Taylor, yeah, I know. Sorry. Francine versus Jerry Lawler's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, everything makes so much sense now. See when you say it like that.
I know. Francine enters. It's fine. Taylor Vaughn enters, and she looks like she is not going to wrestle at all. Like, I do not believe that she's about to do anything physical at all.
Why is that? Because of her outfit?
Yeah, because the way she's dressed, she looks like she's going to like a backyard barbecue. Like,
That's what she wears.
it's So the ref is doing the check on Taylor, and Francine takes out a belt and hits her from behind. Hits Taylor Vaughn from behind. I don't know if you noticed this, but apparently referee Scott Armstrong was the agent for this match.
Oh, he's an agent?
Did you not notice that?
No, I just noticed he was a ref.
Because if you watch the match, instead of actually reffing, you can see that the ref, Scott Armstrong, is telling Taylor Vaughn to hit Francine.
He's all the direction in the world.
He's like, oh, come on, stop it. And if you wait, he's like, hit her. Like, he forgets that he's supposed to be faking, and he just starts like waving his hand in like a whipping motion. He's like, hit her.
The Emperor.
It is. The ref stops Francine and takes the belt away and puts it behind his back to be like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. And again, he kind of like wiggles it a little bit to be like, here it is. Here it is, Taylor, right here. And Taylor grabs the belt from the ref and she hits Francine. And then the ref stops her. But then Taylor hits the ref with the belt and she gets disqualified, even though the bell to start the match never rang at all. Like, I went back to check. You know how like sometimes the bell rings and then they're like, the following content. That bell didn't even ring. No bells rang at all. None.
The ref just had enough. No.
And she got disqualified from a match that didn't even start.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Just like in Super NES. Hit the ref enough. He's like, no, screw this. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm just leaving. I'm done.
Taylor gets disqualified, and the ref escorts her to the like scolds her to the back up the ramp. And then Francine is in the ring by herself. So Ed's like, I'm gonna go console her. And he runs in the ring and he picks up a leather belt and he gives it to Francine and he raises her hand. And she takes his hand, just like judo flips and grabs his wrist that's holding her wrist and puts his hand on her boob. And then everyone's like, and then she beats him with the belt.
Well, because he was touching her chest.
But she clearly put his hand on her own chest.
You're not allowed to touch a woman's chest unless she says it's okay.
Recap length, 1 minute flat. Match length, if you count it from the time they made contact to the time the ref said it was disqualified, 1 minute in length. Segment length, 5 minutes and 42 seconds. My thoughts are why? Why to any of this?
Ooh.
Why this feud? I'm so confused.
My thoughts might explain yours.
Okay.
And that's Ed Ferrara needs to stop booking himself just to touch Francine's chest.
I mean, I guess. Like, I could believe that Ed Ferrara is like, hey, Russo, just book me to touch some titties today. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. But what are we supposed to do with this as a viewer?
Why do you think this is about you? This is Ed Ferrara we're talking about.
Because I paid for it.
No, you didn't. Not a lot of people did.
Yeah, and now I'm paying for it.
Yeah. Puns.
Yeah, that's clearly what it is. He's definitely booking himself to touch stuff.
Yeah, every time.
Ugh.
He's getting real handsy this time.
Segment 12. Hermes Sadler and his pit crew enter.
I was actually surprised he came back. Was he advertised?
I mean, how would I know like that? But
Yeah.
no, it wasn't like they were like, well, maybe next week this is like I legit.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this was over. That's why last week we went on the big rant about how this is clearly a racist storyline. There's no, it's because I thought it was done. I thought the celebrities weren't going to come back and it was going to be over, but they do.
Well, you heard that pop.
Yeah, that's true. That was a pop. So yeah, Hermes Sadler says he's proud to be a part of TNA and its first show. Please support NASCAR. Thank you. K Crush enters, even though he's done with talking. And he's like, nobody cares about no damn NASCAR.
Booze.
And booze, of course, because that damn Southern damn. And he says, if you want some, fight me. And Crush pushes Hermie, and then Hermie tackles Crush to the ground. Let's have a match next week. You're on. Segment length, 3 minutes and 3 seconds. My thoughts I already said, which is, I was a fool to think that if we moved into the future, we would get rid of celebrities in wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts about this, or did you already say
I kept getting distracted by R-Truth's face on his shirt.
Oh, his face airbrushed on his shirt? Yeah.
Yeah, because the artist made it that his mouth was open, and it was right on a fold on his shirt. So as he was moving, kind of looked like he was talking. So I just kept staring at it. Looked like a Simpsons character almost.
I wonder if it was the same guy that made that shirt also made the Sharks wrestling attire. You know, when he pulls up his jocks and it looks like the Shark's eating something.
Oh, yeah!
Nom, 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 nom.
That'd be great. So
segment 13, Malice versus Ken Shamrock for the NWA Heavyweight title.
If he can make it.
We don't know. Is he too hurt to show up? We might not even see him. Ken Shamrock enters and he does not have a neck brace on. But he gets attacked before he even enters the ring. Oh, jeez.
Walk straight down. He honestly didn't even look like he was hurt.
No, yeah.
He looked angry.
Yes, he did look angry, but he did not look hurt. He did not look as coherent as he did before.
He was either not limping or limping with both legs at the same time, so it didn't really seem like he was limping.
So he was just bouncing.
Yeah.
I get excited because we kind of, sort of, almost get like a very short, like the first Mike Tenay scream here, maybe, kind of, possibly.
When
Because
was that?
Malice throws Shamrock into the guardrail right at the beginning of the match, and you don't get the full but you get a real quick like from Mike Tenay, where I was like, oh, ooh, that was almost it.
He needs
Ooh,
to
it's
get more
like
comfortable.
he had to cut it off real short.
Yeah.
I got excited. Oh, it's happening. Malice focuses on the neck of Ken Shamrock for like the entire match.
Yeah, the entire match was Malice.
Yes. Commentary puts over how strong and impressive Shamrock is to keep going because of the neck injury. Eventually, Shamrock hits a snap suplex, followed by a, you guessed it, belly to belly, and he wins. They cut to the dancing girls, and commentary questions if he will be 100% by next week for his match with This is what they say. This is what they say. They don't know if he'll be 100% next week for his match with Omari from the Orient.
Oh, is that how we're billing him?
Yeah, baby.
Are they gonna like put that on a poster?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they'll put it in print. Yeah. So match length 5 minutes and 53 seconds. Segment length 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Your thoughts?
I don't like Malice.
I
Don't like Malice.
don't like him either.
He always looks kind of blown up. He doesn't
Yeah.
work the crowd. He doesn't have a gimmick or personality.
Right.
I don't know what he's doing. He's just there being a big guy, slamming him around. And this match made him look like a jabroni. He was fine this whole day. And he had a match with beat up Shamrock, and he bullied him around the whole match. Shamrock went for an arm submission and got booted in the head. He went for a leg submission, and he went for the ropes. And then he did his House of Fire, belly to belly, and won. Malice did do the Hogan kick out at 3, but like it was a terrible match. They had Malice look so strong at both weeks, and then they made him look like a jabroni that week to Shamrock.
Yeah, that's a big thing is they had, I guess, technically different matches, but overall the same match 2 weeks in a row. Malice dominated the entire time for like 5-7 minutes straight. He dominated, and then at the last second, Shamrock just won for like no reason. It made him look like trash. It made Malice look like crap. Yeah, and then also, I don't know if you caught this because you don't like the guy, so you probably don't pay attention to him, but there was like a weird fast count at the end by Slick.
Oh yes, yes, of course there was, because it was the Hogan kick out, so it had to be like a kind of fast count.
I guess, yeah.
Earl Hebner always did that for Hogan.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. And then,
Yeah, I
oh
hate
boy,
Slick.
this isn't really my thought on the match so much as the show so far, which is that was a really, really good wrestling show. Oh crap, there's still an hour left.
Yeah, why do they do this every time? It was the NWA title match. It should have been the main event.
I can't believe how
Especially if your champion got injured.
right.
Shouldn't you wait till the very end of the show?
Why is it gotta go now? Yeah. Yeah. So far, TNA has consistently given me an hour of great wrestling, followed by a half hour of wasting my time.
Yep. Here comes the BS main event stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff that just nobody cares about. Segment 14, the X Division title match. Tenay puts over the X Division match from last week as David Young and Bobcat enter. Bobcat prances around the ring as David holds her purse.
I liked him standing there holding it. It was funny. It was funny. It made me laugh.
No, it did give me a little bit of a chuckle, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what the point of this is. Like, it's making me.
No, but I hate Bobcat. I
I don't
hate
get
it.
it. I
I
don't get
guess
it.
she's doing her job. I don't know, but I hate her.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
I don't know when to bring this up, so I'll bring it up now. I finally looked into it. You know who this lady is?
Oh, who?
This is the Hardcore Hoe.
Who's the hardcore? Oh, she's the former hardcore champion?
Yeah, the former Godfather's Hoe that was the Hardcore champion. Yeah,
What?
that's who she is.
Huh. Now that you mention it.
All right?
Nah, I'm not going to
No,
pretend
no.
I recognize her.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. No. So yeah, AJ Styles enters because he's the X Division champion, and the match begins. David Young attacks from behind, but AJ hits a drop kick, then a reverse full Nelson into an arm drag. So it's just right off the bat. Oh, here we go. X Division.
Ooh, that Japanese arm drag he hits is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, right away. Boom! You're like, oh my AJ. And then Young, and then Young starts to take over, and it's like, ooh. So Young hits a shoulder block, but then AJ does his kip up Hurricane Rana, followed by a running over the top rope, nothing into a forearm on the outside. Cause it was,
He went for like a feint attack to the outside and did like a backflip so gracefully and looked great. And I was like, oh, look at that. And then, oh wait, yeah, and then goes to jump out and does absolutely nothing.
like, I think it was supposed to be like a Hurricane Rana, but Young was too far out. And AJ
Yeah.
had to just save himself? Like, I think that's what it was. I think AJ
Ugh,
saved himself, and so it looked like nothing instead of it looked like him
that poor
dying.
guy. Yeah.
And then
It was
it
so bad because it was like the whole thing in my head was like, oh, look at AJ. He's so cool and looks so great. And then he did that. It's like, oh, you jabroni
yeah,
immediately.
no, I'm almost
Ruined the
positive.
whole spot.
Yeah. So AJ goes to springboard to the inside, but Young pushes his legs, and AJ lands neck first on the top rope.
Ooh, yeah, that
That
was
was
a
a
good
good one.
one.
That was a good one, yeah. And then this is where it's like, oh, come on, production, you were doing so well. What happened? David Young hits an acai moonsault to the outside of the ring. Well, that's how you hit it. Never mind. It's an acai moonsault, and for some reason they replay AJ landing on his neck.
No,
I was like,
not that part though.
that guy's like 6'2", 240. He just did an acai moonsault. Like that's
Yeah, my
you
jaw
should
literally dropped when I saw that.
yeah. But they replay AJ landing on his neck. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing, I guess. Young goes for a German suplex, but AJ flips out. Commentary notices that Bobcat is on the phone with someone and not watching the match. She's just like prancing around, talking very loudly.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was
I hate
hard
her.
not to. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is when they do this weird like no homo thing on commentary where Ed Farrar is like, guys, I, I don't want to say this like this way, but when these guys are out here doing this wrestling, like I almost don't want to look at Bobcat. Like I want to watch the wrestling. It's just like what? What? Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, but I kind of want to look.
I want to look at dudes. I'll say it, man. I don't know. Like,
I'm so sorry.
yo, I said it again, so I don't need to say it a third time. Go hug your father. David Young hits a Northern Lights suplex into the turnbuckle, and then a step up Enziguri. Some pretty good moves by him. And then we cut to Bobcat saying hi to the camera. Like right into it. Look, I'm on TV. It's me. Hello.
Doesn't need her.
No.
It's the X Division. We don't need all these gimmicks.
Why is she here? Young slows it down with a scissor choke, but AJ breaks out and hits a super kick and his inverted DDT, but it is only a 2. Young turns it around and hits his spine buster, that AA style spine buster, and it's only a 2. David Young puts AJ on the top rope for a Hurricane Rana, but AJ reverses it into a Styles Clash off the top rope. Tenay calls it a tarantula into a pedigree.
Sure.
He seemed super flustered and like he was trying to pull it out of his butt. So, but of course, that gets the 3 top rope Styles Clash. Yeah. And then post match, Bobcat dances around the ring and blows kisses to the fans. And AJ Styles just pushes her out of the way and poses. And the fans
Very
cheer.
Southern-like push.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Very Southern-like male to female push.
It wasn't a real push. It was just kind of like a get out of my way to the side
Oh,
shove.
it was some force in it. He shoved her to the ground.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he pushed the
He-
lady to the ground.
Yeah.
He,
I'm
he
sorry.
might he might have spit on her too.
I don't think he liked her in there. I didn't, honestly. I felt like this was supposed to be like an X Division match. It was supposed to be like a nice all wrestling match, no gimmicks like the rest of the show, and she
yeah.
was there.
She was there for no reason, right?
I felt like AJ agreed with me, but I don't know. I don't want to speak for him.
No, it seemed like that was what it was about because the crowd seemed to agree with it, and
It
and-
just
yeah.
makes no sense.
So match length 8 minutes and 47 seconds. Segment length 11 minutes and 50 seconds. Your thoughts? If you have any more.
I thought it was a good match, but it just went a little too long.
I thought it kind of lulled in the middle a bit. Like I actually heard a one-man boring chant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a little too long. They had a lot of good things. I guess maybe space those spots out because they just hit them all bang, 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 and I liked them. But then they should have just ended it.
Yeah. I have to wonder if maybe there was some, like, miscommunication somehow between, like, when, Bobcat maybe was supposed to do her spots, and that's why it
Mm.
was so maybe, like, they were doing rest spots when Bobcat was supposed to have camera time and they already did it or so I'm just guessing,
Yeah,
maybe.
AJ looked kind of frustrated at her, so I don't. Maybe that could be another explanation of that.
Yeah, right, yeah. Alright, segment 15. First, we have a promo, because this is all one full, segment. First, we have a promo, which is Goldilocks with Joel Gertner and the Rainbow Express. The
Who
Rainbow Ex
actually before that they give like a quick rundown of like three things happening on next week's show, and it was like for a second I was like, oh, I do not want to watch this show
Oh,
because what they just say was like Hermie Sadler's versus K Crush, and I was like,
right,
oh god,
right.
what was the other one that they already announced? It was some other match. Oh, the Inori match, the big Japanese guy versus Shamrock, and I was like, oh, I don't know who that is, so I don't care about that either. I don't want to
Right.
watch this at all.
No.
But then they talked about the huge X Division matches happening, and I was like, oh, okay, thank fucking goodness. I was like, I feel like that's supposed to be like the bottom of the card. The other two, I'm just like, I don't care about that at all.
Uh, yeah.
It's supposed to be the main event draw, and I'm not caring.
So, yeah, segment 15, with a promo between Goldilocks, Joel Gertner, and the Rainbow Express. The Rainbow Express say, "Hey, Goldie, we know a guy that can fix that mess of a hair you have." They're like, "Oh." Goldie asks a question, but Joel interrupts her, saying, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. You're simply too beautiful." She says, "Who
Who's
will
a
y—"
face and who's a heel
I
here?
don't know what's happening. Wrestling's weird. She asks, "Who will fight the Rainbow Express in the finals?" And Joel says he doesn't know, but he'll wrestle her later. Ah. Goldie seems surprised, but not disgusted by that.
And I'm not
J-
surprised by her reaction.
yeah. Joel says they should be given a bye and be awarded the titles. As they leave, Joel kisses Goldilocks, and the Rainbow Express shout, "Gross!" However, she seems to like it.
Yeah. Um, you downplay it by he kisses her. He grabs her and like
Oh,
forces his tongue down her throat,
yeah, full
and
dip.
and
Like,
and then runs away. A drive by kissing.
yeah, there was definitely some assault there.
You're not allowed to do that.
No. We go to the match. This is I have to mention this. I don't know if you caught this, but I caught it every time, and I laughed every time. JB announces that the match must happen, because the Rainbow Express come out first, and then JB's like, "What? The TNA has decided the match must happen." And when he says that, a fan perfectly timed shouts a Little John, "What?" Like, just perfectly. And I died every single time. I watched the show 3 times. Every single time it happened, I was just
Oh,
like,
what?
it was great. The TNA has decided that this match must happen. What? Every time. It was perfect. It was perfect. So the Rainbow Express versus Jerry Lynn and his mystery partner, which we get revealed 5 seconds later, so it's not that much of a mystery. AJ Styles. What?
Born and raised in the USA. I like that song.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely up there in the songs that are good in this company.
It's not a long list.
It's not. It's not. But James Mitchell is definitely number one.
Yes.
AJ and Jerry Lynn get attacked as they enter the ring, and commentary puts over AJ Styles for last week and this week. After sending the Rainbow Express to the outside, Lynn does a plancha, and then AJ Styles does a corkscrew plancha. And I'm once again reminded of how old this wrestling actually is, because Tenay goes to call the move, but doesn't have the words in his vocabulary yet. Because instead of calling it a corkscrew plancha, which is what it was, he calls it a twisting move into a crossbody.
No. Thank goodness they hired him.
Yeah, I was
'Cause
like, weird.
great analytic skills.
In the ring, Lynn goes for a go behind on Lenny, but Lenny smiles and grinds his hips. In the corner, Lynn stomps Lenny and stops Bruce from blindsiding him with a drop toe hold that sends Bruce's face first into Lenny's crotch. And then Lynn picks it up and does it a few more times. Bang, 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 bang into the crotch.
I don't know if you realized it, but when he put him into the turnbuckle, he was about to go for the Bronco Buster. And as he runs to go do it, the reason he stops himself is because he goes, "Oh wait, he might like this," and then just starts stomping into him.
I didn't understand why he stopped. Okay, that makes sense.
It took me the second time to realize that. And Jerry Lynn was like, "Wait a minute, I don't know if I want to do that." And then just started stomping him.
Yeah, because
He
later
tried
on,
to play into it hard. That gimmick.
right? Because later on, I did see a gimmick that he does like that, and now it makes sense that he did it twice. Yeah, okay. So Joel gets involved, and that allows the Rainbow Express to get the kiss tag. Jerry Lynn turns it around with a reverse the shoulder block through the ropes into a leg drop onto Bruce. It's a spot that he did, I think last week against Loki at some point.
Oh, okay.
Exact same spot.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Loki did the shoulder block through the ropes. He jumped over him and leg dropped him. Yeah. So we get a tag to AJ, who hits a rolling heel kick and then tags back out.
Yep.
Joel distracts the ref, and that gives a low blow on Jerry Lynn. Bing. What happened to wrestlers? How come they don't keep bells in their trunks anymore?
They only did that in the N64 universe.
So tag to Lenny, who puts Lynn in the Tiger Tamer, but AJ breaks it up with the same spot from last week where Bruce gets distracted by the ref, and then the opponent comes in and clotheslines him out of the move.
They don't have a very extensive playbook.
No, because I've seen all their moves from 2 matches. Like, it's not good.
They blew their load early.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a match I want to see. The Rainbow Express versus the Johnson.
No. Oh, God, we can't get it now. They're already gone. They wasted it. So the Rainbow Express stays in control, and a kiss tag sends Lenny back into the ring. Don, I actually like this part. Don West doesn't freak out from the kiss tag, and Ed goes, "Hey, what happened? You didn't freak out. Did you fall asleep?" And Don quietly, almost under his breath, goes, it's just redundant.
I'm over it at this point. Wow. Is he growing up before our eyes?
I guess.
Is it a slow process?
I don't know. Maybe it's a quick process when you just overload him with gay, and he's just like, all right, I can't keep being upset by it. It's too much.
I'm gonna make you smoke this entire pack of cigarettes.
I think that's what it is. So we get a long 17-second vertical suplex by Lenny. Pretty nice. Bruce does his big springboard sunset flip to Jerry Lynn, and Jerry Lynn reverses it by kneeling into a pin. But then he goes, "Oh, shit!" because he realizes that his dick is near Bruce's face, and that's not good. So he just
throws him off balance.
Yeah. And he gets pinned, but it's only for a 2. Yes.
Jerry Lynn. I love Jerry Lynn. I always have. You know for a fact he put this match together.
Just the way he was like, "Oh, shit!"
Yeah. I love him.
Oh, man. So Lynn goes for, you know it, baby, a tilt-a-whirl. But what the fuck? Bruce reverses it by sitting out into a facebuster? What happened?
No one thought of that.
I thought once he starts tilting your world.
He's got his own world tilted back.
Oh. That's what the Dups meant when they did that wibbly-wobbly hand motion.
Oh, yeah, he's a little... he knows how to tilt your world. He tried to tilt it.
Can't tilt his world. He's too wobbly.
Because just like in Australia.
He spins the other way. Oh my God,
Yep.
that makes sense. I don't like you. How'd you trick me into that hate crime?
I'm in your head, Charles.
Oh no. So Bruce goes, oh no, Bruce gets a head scissor choke in, and he just keeps thrusting and screaming into the back of Jerry Lynn's head.
Pretty sure you keep hearing like the crowd like moaning. Ugh!
Yeah. We get a series of finisher reversals that lead to a reverse DDT by Jerry Lynn, and it's a double down. Hot tag to AJ, who hits clotheslines and a Hurricane Rana and a super kick and a discus clothesline. He's doing it all, baby. All men in. Lenny hits a full Nelson facebuster, gets it too. Lynn hits the cradle pile driver, and then Lynn and Bruce just like tackle each other and fall outside the ring. AJ hits the spiral tap, and that's the win. Your new TNA Tag Team Champions, Jerry Lynn and AJ Styles. Post-match, AJ celebrates with both belts as Lynn looks on from outside the ring, almost kind of pissed. But then he enters, and him and AJ hug, and they celebrate. Promo length, if you remember, there was a promo all the way at the start. 1 minute and 33 seconds. Match length, 12 minutes and 23 seconds. Full segment length, 16 minutes and 57 seconds. Your thoughts?
Match of the night.
Yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Pushing AJ to the moon like they should. Although I think it's weird that AJ Styles got both inaugural titles of the company.
Yes.
That was a little strange. Like there's some more talent down there. Especially since you have all these titles and none of them are ever in the main event because the other guys are always in the main event, but you won't give them the title. So I don't understand anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, besides that, that's not the match. Match was great.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was all put together by Jerry Lynn because he's a genius. It was the only match that really felt like it had a formula and a story compared to anything else. And everything else really, like some of them did, but this one was the best one, I felt. You could tell with, like I said, those two spots, Jerry Lynn really put together his match with their gimmick involved. And, he's like, oh, I'm not going to do that Bronco Buster. And he's like, oh, my goodness, I'm sitting on his face with my crotch. What am I doing? Then it was really smart with all the spots he did. Definitely match of the night. Can't talk enough about how great Jerry Lynn is.
Yeah. The only
I thought also, I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
go ahead.
the Rainbow Express also, I thought they looked really good in this match. They didn't do their gimmick too much, even though they did, but like Lenny hit that stalling suplex and hit a couple other moves that looked great. Bruce, I always love when he gets to his little kiss on the hand tag. He comes in, it's like super vicious all of a sudden. You have to be afraid of him. It's
Right.
It's like a good dynamic and a switch. So I thought this was one of their best matches as well, because again, Jerry Lynn most likely, but
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah, the only problem I had, which we already brushed past, we talked about, we kind of brushed past it, which is, man, oh man, I would love to get through one show without witnessing a crime.
oh, which one?
The one where Goldilocks, maybe it wasn't a crime against her.
Oh yeah, right in the beginning.
The
Just
sexual
grabbing
assault
her.
that we saw, yeah.
Just like, I was in the Navy and I finally ported. I'm just gonna grab a woman and kiss her. This is fine.
Right.
It's America.
It's America and we won the war.
They'll make a statue of this and commemorate it.
He'll make a statue of this hate crime one day. And then we'll all learn as a hate crime and be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Segment 16. What's going on in the back? Don West says, I hope it's not Stormin Harris again. What?
Those poor kids are always getting hurt.
Did they bring them back from the hospital to get beat up again? Like, what happened?
It's like the Eugene character from Hey Arnold. Just keeps getting hurt
I'm okay.
every time. So, oh no, I hope it's not them again.
So NWA President Jim Miller is tied up with his shirt pulled up to his chest with the letters FU written on his belly.
Was it pulled up or did he cut it like a crop top?
I think it was pulled up,
Okay.
but I'm not positive. Vice President Bill Barron screams for someone to get help and to get a knife. This is my favorite, though. This is my favorite. Goldilocks says, this is the craziest night. I don't even know where to go from here. It's just whatever, and walks away.
It's just whatever.
It's just whatever. And he walks away. Segment length, 25 seconds. Yeah, your thoughts, which is the same thought as I have. What is FU?
Yeah, what? I don't know what that
Is that a
is.
calling card? Like, is there a group called FU? Is it someone
I
saying
really
"fuck
feel like
you" or
Jeff Jarrett had something with FU, didn't he? In WCW, he had Slapnuts, and didn't he have something with FU?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I could be wrong though.
The
I
only
don't know.
FU that I remember in WCW was FUNB, which was Hogan's group against the New Blood.
Oh yeah. See, so I don't know then.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Get help. Get a knife.
Yeah, get a knife, get help. And then my other thought. Actually, I have two other thoughts, which is one, I just said I wanted to get through a show without witnessing a crime.
Yep.
Why am I seeing another one? And then the other thing I have to say, which is, yo, I was 100% joking earlier when I said, does Jim Miller have something to do with the no t-shirt policy? But maybe I was right. Why else would they pull up his shirt?
Give me a knife. This shirt's almost off.
His shirt's gotta go. Ah, there you go. His shirt's off. Maybe we should untie him too. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh God. I'm just so used to it around my house. I didn't realize it.
Oh,
Okay. It is time for the main event,
yeah.
which means it's time for the best hour, our favorite hour,
Oh my goodness.
the Troy McClure hour.
Yes.
Oh, hello there. I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such sequels that ignore the source material as Jurassic Park 9, Dinosaurs on Ice, Home Alone 7, You Born in Nam, You Die in Nam, or Spider-Man 5, Kuwait Can Wait, I'll Go to Monaco. Today, we're here to talk about moving forward with yesterday's baggage. All right, so who are the stars of TNA tonight? Jeff Jarrett. We've already talked about him a little bit on this show. So instead of talking to you more about what he did before he got to TNA, I'm going to talk to you about the rookie year of Jeff Jarrett. If you remember from last week, he was a referee who was challenged to a match by a wrestler on a losing streak, Tony Falk, for being the reason that he was losing so many matches.
Which is another explanation of why I love Jeff Jarrett so much.
Right. So in his debut match, which we brushed over against Tony Falk, he wrestled to a 10-minute time limit. First match ever. Second match ever, I showed you in the video where he had a rematch 4 days later against Tony Falk, where Tony Falk did a middle rope stomp to Jeff Jarrett, threw him out of the ring, and then hot dogged for 15 seconds. Then Jeff Jarrett won with a sunset flip to the inside from outside.
Ooh.
That's how he won that match.
Hey.
Second match ever.
Who was the ref?
Another referee. Yeah. Next, we have 6 days after that in a tag match against. Think about this now. This is 1986. So think about this now. He had a tag match against Abdul Gaddafi. And who do you think his tag partner was?
Against him, I don't know. Abdul, some other weird name man.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah?
that's what I assume.
You're right. It's Pat Rose.
Oh, that's not very strange at all.
Abdul Gaddafi and Pat Rose fought Jeff Jarrett and his partner Joe LeDuc. And towards the end of the match, Jeff Jarrett finally got the tag into Joe LeDuc, and then Tony Falk ran away from commentary and beat Jeff Jarrett down on the apron. And then in his third week in the wrestling business, Jeff Jarrett finally beat the Patriot clean in 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
The Patriot?
Well, it's a Patriot,
Oh,
but it's
probably
definitely but he calls himself the Patriot, so. And that is the first 3 weeks of rookie Jeff Jarrett. Next, K Crush. Also Ron Killings, also K Quick, all you know my many names.
people over there. What's up?
What's up? Having a chance to join wrestling in 1995, Killings instead focused on his music career, which led to him asking for a chance at wrestling again 2 years later. Beginning as a manager in Pro Wrestling Federation, where he trained to wrestle, he debuted for the NWA Wildside in 1999 as K Crush and was quickly given their television title. He joined the WWF the same year, debuting a year and a half later, so that's 2000, as K Quick, forming the tag team with Road Dogg and performing their rap duet Getting Rowdy. Gonna move some things. Before each match. They failed to achieve the tag titles at Armageddon 2000, and Road Dogg was released in 2001. K Crush gained the hardcore title twice before being released in late 2001, early 2002, which leads us to NWA TNA. And to make things even more confusing, K Crush, K Quick, Ron Killings also recently, like 5-ish days ago, debuted for XPW under the name K Malik Shabazz.
Malik Shabazz. Wow. Still with
Yeah.
the K. Why do you need the K there?
I don't know. I mean, Malik Shabazz is, that's Malcolm X's name. But
Yeah.
I guess the K maybe is like his version of X or something. I don't know.
Ooh, could be.
Next is Brian Christopher. Started his career in 1988 in, you guessed it, the USWA, where his father, Jerry Lawler, was the main draw. He started off as one half of the masked tag team, The Twilight Zone, with Tony Williams, under the names Nebula, that was his, and Quasar was Tony Williams. After being unmasked, he changed his name to Too Sexy Brian Christopher and tagged around with various people. In 1997, he joined the WWF as Brian Too Sexy Christopher and formed Too Much with Scott Too Hot Taylor. After a brief hiatus, they changed their names to Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty Too Hottie, called themselves Too Cool. They won the world tag titles, and he was released in 2001 after illegally conveying drugs to Canada.
Is there a legal way to do it?
I guess that's what they call it when it's not enough drugs for trafficking. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay.
he
Yeah.
he wrestled in the WWA before joining TNA. And then finally, Scott Hall, starting his career in 1984 with the NWA Florida Territory, training under Dusty Rhodes. He graduated with Dan Spivey and moved to Jim Crockett's Charlotte, North Carolina Territory as Team American Starship under the name Starship Coyote, with Dan Spivey being Starship Eagle. In 1985, the AWA wanted to push him to the level of Hulk Hogan, sending him to the NJPW a number of times over the next 5 years. It apparently became clear to Hall that the AWA was going to collapse, so he left for WCW in 89. He made his company debut June 3rd with the name Scott Gator Hall.
Gator!
With a gimmick of playing volleyball at the beach, riding boats, fishing, and scaring alligators. I don't know how you could really tell if an alligator was scared, but
If he runs away.
I guess, yeah. And then 6 days later, he made his TV debut against Muta for WCW, and then about 20 days later, he made his pay-per-view debut with the Great American Bash, the Glory Days, in the King of the Hill Battle Royal. You can see the full cast and crew at imdb.com. So segment 17, the main event, here we go! They recap the match from last week. Toby Keith screwed Jeff Jarrett. We get it. Okay. All the men enter, and commentary put over the various storylines. Jeff Jarrett might have something to do with Jim Miller. Crush is fighting Hermie Sadler next week. Brian Christopher, hot dog or showman? Scott Hall is here.
Hey,
Those are the storylines. And then I want to say, I know we keep doing it, but you can't do it enough. You can't do it enough. Tonight, they are in Nashville, Tennessee. Jeff Jarrett is always billed from Nashville, Tennessee. But Jeff Jarrett's the heel. So where's Jeff Jarrett billed from tonight?
Tennessee?
Music City, USA.
There you go. Bringing it
Not
back old school.
Not even close to being a hometown hero with that one.
Nope.
I love it. It's beautiful. So the match starts and the men fight into the crowd, going up the stairs and into a dancer's cage. I don't know how. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know how. One of the dancers didn't even notice they were fighting into her cage and had to almost jump out.
Oh,
I don't know how she didn't notice him. So we get back to the ring eventually, and Brian goes for the hip hop drop but misses, and Crush tosses him out. Hall choke slams Crush, and then Jarrett knocks Hall around. Then he grabs his crotch and tells the crowd to suck on that.
wow.
Yeah. A reverse Irish whip gives Christopher the tag, but he misses with a corner splash and gets crotched. It's the same spot we saw from last week with him and Crush. A tag to Hall leads to a double down. It is way too early for that, but okay. Tag to Crush with a missile dropkick to Hall, followed by his signature spinning forearm, but it's not that signature yet. It doesn't look very good. Jarrett tags in. How do you like me now? Neckbreaker tags out.
That's all he needs to do.
He's good. He works the crowd. He keeps getting him back into it. Brian Christopher seems to be angry that Hall isn't going for a tag. I don't know if he really had that many opportunities for him to be angry about it, but okay. Another double down as Jarrett goes to the wrong corner. Crush walks over to the neutral corner and tells Jarrett, it's this way, it's over here. But Christopher walks over and grabs Crush by the braids and hot dogs to the crowd.
Stop saying hot dog.
Making you hungry? The ref walks over and holds Christopher by the waist through the ropes to stop him, which also prevents Christopher from making the hot tag to Hall. I don't know why the ref grabbed him that way, other than it was the spot.
Yeah, that's a strange spot for him to ever do.
Yeah. Crush hits the axe kick and applies a reverse chinlock recliner style. But Hall stands up and gives him an electric chair? I always forget. Is the electric chair or is it the electric chair drop? Because one is forward and one's backwards, right?
No, the electric chair drop is straight back. I think the face crusher is called something else entirely.
Oh, okay. But it doesn't do anything in the long run because Crush gets the tag before Hall can get his tag. Hall ducks the double team clothesline and then double clotheslines Crush and Jarrett. The crowd is hyped. Hall goes for that tag. It's right there. It's still right there. It's getting farther away, but it's still right there because Christopher pulls his hand away and punches Hall in the face. Hall atomic drops Jarrett into the ref, and all three men bump and feed for Hall. Hall hits the outsider's edge on Crush, and Jarrett from behind hits the stroke, and then Christopher goes up and hits the hip-hop drop, and Jarrett makes the pin and gets the 3. Post-match, Brian Christopher and K-Crush hug and then leave. Jarrett says he proved Hall isn't worth shit. He beat him up in 95, in 97, ran him out of WCW, the boys ran you out of the North, and then Jarrett's going to run you out of the NWA. He kicks him around, and then he tells Tenay, legends aren't worth a damn. He smashes the TNA NWA trophy, whatever, that trophy that's out there. He smashes that on Hall. Kinda. It doesn't really break very well. Jarrett continues. He'll beat any celebrity, including the NFL Titans defensive line who have seats ringside right now tonight. Yeah, boo, 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 boo. And then he says the same promo again. I beat you, blah. I ran you out of blah, move, blah, blah, blah. Jarrett says, I got screwed the first night, and I'll be damned if this ever happens again. Hall is taken away on a stretcher. We go to commentary, who tells us about next week, but Jarrett comes back and pushes Hall off the stretcher and also off the ramp. And he says, I should have been champ show 1, and the show ends. Recap of that segment was 1 minute and 22 seconds. Match length, 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Post-match, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Full segment length, 21 minutes and 20 seconds. Your thoughts?
Oof. I really thought they were just gonna give everything to Hall there and just be like, "Yep, he gets double crossed by his partner, and he's still gonna fight them all off and win." I was like, "This is." I don't know if I was gonna buy that at first, especially because I don't know why he's not in the title picture at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I thought it was weird because had they set it up, Hall was no, I'm sorry. Christopher. What's his last name?
That is
Brian
his last
Christopher.
name.
That is his last name.
Yeah,
That's why
I
I
know.
can't trust him.
It's confusing, yeah.
Brian Christopher was on the apron and he got pushed by Hall and Hall bumped into him. That was the start of it. He was like, "Yo, what the fuck? You just knocked into me." And then he was trying to get a tag and he was all, "Give me a tag," and not tagging me. So I don't. It didn't seem like it was a plan by him because then that would be my first complaint. I hate when people have this whole big plan, but it's at the end of the match and the whole time during the match they're beating up each other during this plan. So like, yeah, we're gonna fight each other, but then at the end we're gonna screw
Okay.
the other guy and let everyone know we were together this whole time.
Yeah, I think I missed the bumping into him at the early
Yeah, he hit
on.
him on the apron. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I missed that. It kind of like I thought it was planned the whole time and I didn't get it. But if you're pointing that out, that there was a lot of miscommunication in the match, then I guess, oh, okay, maybe it was a mishap where he was just like, screw this. I'm not gonna, give this guy a win.
Yeah, because he's at one point going over to the other apron, reaching across and grabbing Ron Killings and whatnot. So I'm like, it doesn't really seem like they're together. It really
I
seemed
don't.
like it was just at the spur of the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. My thoughts were I already knew Brian Christopher was a villain, so none of that like really surprises me.
Yeah.
I already knew he was a villain. And then at the end, when Scott Hall is being wheeled away, Jeff Jarrett says, "Scott Hall, never forget who did this to you," which is AKA the "I want you to remember."
Yes.
That's why he pushed him because he did. He pushed him off the thing and then started choking him.
Yeah, and the reason that trophy didn't break is because if he hit Scott Hall across his big back, the thing would have broke. But he reached over and hit Scott Hall in the back of the head with it.
Oh,
Yeah, it was bad.
oh,
It's like,
okay.
why? Like, this is what Jarrett does all the time. Do you remember back in WCW when he was like with the Horsemen? He had a briefcase and Steve Mongo McMichael was in the ring and he's supposed to like be arguing with someone. I think it's weirdly enough, don't quote me, but I think it's Public Enemy. And he gets it from their hands and swings it up into Mongo's head, but he does it with like the force of a baseball player swinging a bat. Like, it is the fastest swing I've ever seen. It seems like he just knocked him out. So I'm like, why does he constantly try to like hit people as hard as he can in the head? He's like, the wrestling part, it's whatever, it's fake, it's staged, whatever. But when I'm hitting someone, I'm gonna hit you, just so you know.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're supposed to be gimmicked. So he's like, "Oh, if it's gimmicked, I'm gonna fucking whale you with it." And
Maybe
that
he doesn't like Scott Hall.
wasn't gimmick. Yeah, maybe he just doesn't like Scott Hall. That's true.
I want to run you out of the NWO.
Yeah.
He kept stuttering over his words.
Well, the show closed on that segment, but when we went back to the commentary booth at the end for a second before we jumped, like we saw him get beat up, and he was like, "Well, that's it. All right, you guys are crap. I'm leaving." And he walks away, and they wheel Scott Hall away, and they cut to commentary, and they're like, "Well, that was a show, and then it's really bad, and he's coming back."
Yeah, he just kept. I feel like they maybe went a little short on time.
Yeah, I
And he
wasn't
just
sure
kept
what happened.
attacking him over and over and over again.
Yeah. But anyway, when we go back to the commentary table, they're like, "Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget, next week it's Shamrock versus Omori
Don't
and
care.
an X Division ranking match."
Yeah, that's the one I care about.
They don't
Whatever that
really
means.
say what it is or what's it's involved. I think it might be one match involving 6 people. I don't know why, but I think
They
that's what it
name
is.
dropped about 6 people
Okay.
when I was talking about it before, like right before one match. It's like Romeo something,
So
low
yeah,
key.
low key still low
That's
key.
all I can
All right.
remember.
So bell to bell to bell to bell to bell. 56 minutes and 49 seconds of wrestling on this hour and 56-minute and 20-second show.
50-50 split.
Uh, well, I mean, there's an hour, but yeah, pretty much. I guess it's better, or is it worse? No, because there was whatever. Who cares? Whatever. Doesn't matter how much wrestling. It matters how good the wrestling is.
Exactly. And they had 2 really great matches, I felt. There was a lot of, it was crammed with a lot of stuff. There was a
Right.
lot of double, sometimes triple things happening in one segment, so you couldn't really remember all the things that happened by the time it was over. Like, that happened the first time I watched the show. Once I watched it a second time through, I was like, "Oh, I forgot all this stuff happened, like, in this show." Like, as I watched it, I was like, "I thought this happened in another episode. I forgot this was all one long episode." It was way too
Uh,
much.
yeah.
Couldn't remember it in the long scheme of things.
No, yeah, it's yeah, it kind of is a lot, and it doesn't. Well, it does connect to each other, but I don't know, not till the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I already said it, it was a good show until halfway through, and they ended it with the main event, and then kept giving us more wrestling.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you gave me a good show, then you kept going. Why? And then, dude, come on, they're relying way too much on AJ Styles and Ken Shamrock already.
Yep.
Way too much.
They just got rid of Brian Christopher, who was another main event face. It's another heel now.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was getting over well enough to be a face.
Well, now they have
Oh
no
yeah,
choice. They
now
only
there's
got
no
2.
alternate. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, Monty Brown will be a good face. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a face though.
Well, we still got Herbie Sadler,
Oh my god.
the
How,
NASCAR race car driver.
why is that a defense?
He gets pops. He gets pops.
Yeah, he does, I
Are we
guess.
watching the same show? He gets
No,
pops.
he does get pops. That's true. That's true.
They're in the right areas.
All right. So, why would you make this? I mean, come on, dude. I think it's pretty obvious. Look at what the show you just watched. AJ Styles, Scott Hall, and Ken Shamrock are the only people out of all 3 weeks that have been clearly over. You might be able to add maybe a Jerry Lynn to that, maybe. But those are your only clear draws.
Yep.
So if those are your clear draws, then you need someone to work against them. Okay. Who's good on the mic? James Mitchell, Joel Gertner, and Jeff Jarrett. Wow. Only one of those guys is a wrestler. Oh boy.
What? How dare you not include Ron Killings? Damn you and damn your list of people who are good on the mic.
I don't know. I mean, he's not bad, but I don't know if he's good enough to carry it like that so far. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
He's believable in everything
But
that he does.
but then either way, okay, fine. He's very good on the mic. The only people you really have that are experienced enough to carry anyone through a match are probably Jerry Lynn,
Yep.
Scott Hall,
Yeah.
Buff Bagwell, and Jeff Jarrett. And those are the people who are experienced enough to carry anyone. Not
Yeah.
to say whether or not their current state allows them to. So you have Scott Hall, he's out. Buff Bagwell, I'm not sure if he didn't just quit or not. So you have Jeff Jarrett, which is he's already the main event heel. You can't do anything else with him.
Yep.
And then you have Jerry Lynn. So if Jerry Lynn isn't the only contender to AJ Styles' title, then I don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're doing the whole tournament or whatever they're doing.
Right. But at the end of that, if they can't find a new heel star, that's your only
yeah.
option at this point. Your only option, unless you make someone new right now in the moment, Jerry Lynn's your only option for AJ Styles to work against.
Well,
Because-
I do remember one of the other names in that tournament.
All right, so yeah, maybe it's one of them. What?
Chris
go ahead.
Daniels.
Chris. Okay, well, he's new. He's not
They-
someone that
they're
can
gonna start making
really
people.
carry the. Yeah, well, if they can make him, I don't know if they can
Yeah.
make him in 1 week, but yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here we are. Let's do it. Let's guess the card for next week. We already know it's Shamrock versus Omari or Omori. Yeah, Ken Shamrock versus Omori for the NWA Heavyweight Championship title belt match. And the X Division ranking match, don't know what that is. If it's like an elimination, if it's another round robin style.
Yeah, I would assume it'd be like a gauntlet match.
I don't know. And what was some
That's
of the
what I would
names again?
It was like Tony Mamaluke, Chris Daniels, Low Key. I think Jerry Lynn is gonna be in it. Maybe like another name that like was never on a card
Yeah.
yet.
I'm sure I'll find them out and throw the names up on there. But yeah, so you got your 6-ish guys right there. And then we're also going to have K Crush versus Hermie Sadler.
Yeah.
That's 3 matches. What else do we got?
The Dups have to have a match.
The Dups. That's true. A match, or do you think they're going to be shoehorned into a tag title scene, even though they abandoned their match?
They could have one tag match because I would assume AMW, or they're not really referred to that as yet. Whatever, Wildcat, Chris Harris, James
Yeah,
Storm. They would have
yeah,
to have
yeah.
some sort of like a revenge or a match or something going on. I don't know if they'll be healed yet, but they have a valid claim to be in a match for the titles because they never really got a chance. So I would assume they would have something going
I mean, we already know that we're not going to see them, but hopefully we get an explanation of what happened between the Johnsons and Mortimer Plumtree,
on. Oh yeah,
because something happened there, and I'd like to know what. Maybe
I would like another Monty Brown squash match.
another Monty Brown match.
Yes, I loved him.
Okay. Probably maybe get another Francine Miss TNA thing, because I don't feel like that was a blow off at all.
Who's Miss TNA?
If I say her name, you won't know that either.
That
So,
was
yeah.
the joke. You ruined it.
Sherry Lawler's girlfriend
Okay, yeah.
versus Francine. And then, yeah, I don't know what else we can have at that point. Maybe another midget match, because that kind of got over last time.
Yeah, I suppose they'll try that once more.
And then, we gotta have a Slash match. If he's still in this company,
Oh yeah, the new church will
he's
will do
gotta
something.
have a match.
Yeah.
And then I think that would pretty much cover everyone on the roster that we've seen so far.
Yep. Harvey Sadler is the celebrity, so they won't have another celebrity.
Right, right. Oh, and if Buff shows up, maybe Buff will show back up.
Marcus.
That's right. Maybe Marcus will show back up. Although I feel like that's probably not gonna happen until like another week or two, like show 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Shamrock versus Omari, the X Division ranking match, K Crush versus Hermie Sadler, maybe a Monty Brown match,
Yeah.
maybe AMW versus the Tag Champions. I don't think we're getting another midget match. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna get a Plumtree explanation either. Probably another. I'll go with maybe the Slash match and Miss TNA and Francine.
Yeah.
That's probably more likely what's gonna happen. Some more Goldie shenanigans.
Ugh,
The Goldilocks show.
less of her, the better.
Yeah, or if she gets better, then what we're seeing of her is perfect. But she's
I don't see
gotta
it happening, but
improve
yeah,
a little bit.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. All right, so maybe that will be the card for NWA TNA pay-per-view number 4.
What?
What? It's my own fault. I shouldn't have so much space. So, if you enjoyed the show, please consider giving us a like or a subscribe or a 5-star review or sharing us with your friends or I don't know, family and enemies, or what can they do? Write our name on little pieces of papers and like hide them in trees.
Ooh, what a wonderful surprise.
What is that?
Maybe
Thought
like
I was
squirrels or birds will help transport them across the
right?
country and more people
Who
can find it.
the possibilities are endless when you put your imagination to it. So the intro music, of course, is an edited version of Falling Off Your Love by Kill Paris. And for Brother Scala, I am Jimmy Time. And please remember, without the mistakes of others, we'd be forced to endure the pain of failure ourselves. Support the arts. The preceding recording is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of Why Would You Make This, its owners, employees, or associates.